Kate Southall, manager of global brand at SHRM, talks to host Doug Simon on PR's Top Pros Talk.
Kate, why don't we start by having you explain what SHRM is about?
Absolutely. So at its core, SHRM is an HR association. We have 340,000 members all across the world, and we aim to serve them through all levels of their job and their needs. So whether it's education or providing resources, up-to-date compliance information and advocacy, at its core, that's really how SHRM started, and that's what really is kind of the heartbeat of what SHRM does. But in addition to that, SHRM is the authority of all things work. So we aim to advocate for and educate and work for the worker in the workplace. Our tagline is Better Workplaces, Better World, because we believe that the work that we could do in the workplace to make it more equitable, more diverse and inclusive, and kind of function more smoothly will in turn create a better world.
Yeah, and that makes so much sense given how much time people actually spend in
Yeah.
their workplace. It's a pretty huge percentage of their awake time. Of course, AI is changing many industries and touching them. Is it playing a growing role in HR? And if so, how is it doing it?
AI is playing a huge role in the HR industry at large. I think actually HR professionals they were kind of some of the first workers to start using AI. A big space has been in talent acquisition and talent retention. HR professionals have to be a jack of all trades. So whether it's, hiring people, training people, culture initiatives within their organizations, HR professionals have to do a lot. They have to know a lot. They have to be active. And they have to, it's an always on kind of role. And so what AI does in a lot of industries and organization is that they kind of take over some of those repetitive tasks that take up a lot of time. SHRM's POV is that AI is allowing HR to be more human. So HR professionals can use AI tools to automate those jobs or tasks that are taking a lot of time and taking a lot of energy. And they can then turn their efforts and their time to strategy, to things that are really lean more on their emotional intelligence and their face-to-face interactions with their organizational leaders and their workers. So it has been changing HR a lot. I think in addition to the ways that AI is making HR jobs kind of better, faster, stronger. It's also requiring HR professionals to learn a lot about AI tools because their employees are using AI. So in addition to getting pressure from, just the kind of improving technologies and leadership, they're also having their employees using AI in all kind of forms and fashions. So HR professionals also have a responsibility and a need and a pressure to create rules and regulations within their organizations around the usage of AI.
Right.
SHRM has done a lot to create toolkits and education for those HR professionals so they can come up with some kind of blueprint to guide their organizations and their employees on, what's permissible, what's safe, how AI can be, both a tool and also understanding its limitations.
I know in the talent acquisition process, there are a couple of challenges. One is going through all the resumes that are received for the potential position. And then there's, really narrowing it down to sort of the next group.
Mhm.
Can AI play a role in helping to sort of identify which might be the best resumes and applications to take a deeper dive? Is that one of the way it's being used?
I think especially the way that AI is improving quickly, it's changing at a rapid rate. And since our campaign started at the beginning of 2024, it's almost like a whole different conversation of its capabilities. So one of the things that is continuing to improve AI's capabilities is being able to input your own I guess, parameters into an AI tool. So you can enter what you're looking for, you can enter what you have, and AI can almost tell you what you need and the type of candidate that is most ideal for what you're looking for. So in that way, it can be really helpful. I think one piece that SHRM is really insistent on promoting is that you shouldn't, and we all shouldn't only rely on AI. So plopping or inputting your needs into an AI tool and receiving it and just going with it without your own input is a huge risk. And so on SHRM side, our kind of ethos has been AI plus HI equals ROI. AI is a tool, but it is not a replacement for human judgment. And so it's important for HR professionals and all of us to take a look at the kind of information that we're receiving from these tools, and then really putting it through a human filter and using our own judgment and our expertise to ensure that we're getting the right answers.
Yeah, you also want to be on the lookout for, say, wildcard submissions. I remember fondly one of our great employees who's now in education. It was for an entry level PR media pitching role. And her resume, she had been working for a family taking care of their children as an au pair for a year. And the family let her stay there for an extra 3 months while she was looking for her next job. And I was like, if you can convince a family of high-powered workers to keep you around for extra time
Right.
while you're looking for work, you can probably handle the media pretty well
Right.
and handle clients
Yeah.
pretty well. And it turned out to be truthful. So that was a great thing. You want to keep that. Talent retention has been a big topic as well. So what are some of the most important pieces from a human perspective? And then we can look at the important pieces from a human who uses AI perspective that might be beneficial to keeping your team intact.
Right. I mean, I think talent retention is something that we could talk about for many, many podcasts, but I think I'm going to answer both. I think that understanding your own organization is something that AI can't do. So knowing what are ways that you can kind of tailor an employee's experience to ensure that they're happy and they feel like they belong, is something that requires emotional intelligence that you can't get from a machine. I think that ways that AI can help with that talent retention is understanding and being able to help with trends, like trends in terms of where the market, where salary expectations are based on your competitors, how much your employees are working, and if they're burned out or not, who's actually taking time off. That's an important part of employee retention, that your employees are feeling appreciated, and your employees are not feeling like they're, not getting to spend time with their kids or not being able to spend time at home. So it's a combination, I think, of understanding your specific organization and your culture, and then also understanding that there is a bit of a science to it as well, that you can get data and you can analyze it quantitatively, to kind of create a formula that can almost flag it for HR professionals of whether or not you're kind of in danger of losing employees.
Right. And obviously, given the breadth of your membership, they're not all going to be in the same place about a willingness to maybe integrate AI into what they're doing. What's an approach, and this could obviously apply for more than just HR, but what's an approach when there's a group that's resistant to adopting it because change can be scary? How can you get them to be more accepting and open to seeing how it can be a tool that could be beneficial for them?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the first piece of it is being a voice that your audience trusts. So throughout all of our content and things that we've pushed out throughout this campaign, we've been really thoughtful about our tone. We've been thoughtful about the creative choices that we make, to ensure that whoever's receiving this message, they trust us and that we are a serious authority, on all things work. We have 75 years of us being a successful organization under our belt, which also helps. And we have 340,000 members who trust SHRM as the authority on these things. So that is kind of the first piece of it, which starts far before you try to put a product or a new thing in front of your audiences. When you're kind of thinking through launching a campaign like this is empathy. So ask the question, why would people be resistant? Why are they scared? And, there's a couple of things with AI specifically that I think people are afraid of. The first is AI is going to take my job. The second, individuals might think, oh, like I'm not going to get it. It's too complicated. Other people might just not trust AI. And I think kind of approaching those questions first and addressing them head on and giving a compelling kind of counterpoint to that. AI isn't going to take your job, but someone who uses AI will. That's one of our, we did kind of a mini digital campaign around that thought exactly, or that suggestion that kind of makes people think, okay, like I got to get on the train and help me with that. So understanding like what those worries are and addressing them, I think in plain language, it is helpful and I think meets the audience where they're at.
Yeah, and in your role, obviously working with the comms, marketing, and sales teams, they have to work together. Can AI also play a role in that? You seem to be pretty pro AI.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things. Like the first is the piece I was talking about with HR before, which it allows you to automate a lot of processes that then frees up time for more creative collaboration. So that is a really helpful byproduct of integrating AI into your day-to-day work routine and your systems. So I think just having an understanding that like that change is going to come. It might be subtle, but you're going to be able to connect with individuals and have more kind of organic brainstorming type, like rich collaboration, because you won't be bogged down with some of those automated tasks. I think that's a big piece of it. And then one specific area that AI is helpful from a marketing and PR perspective that I think is especially relevant for SHRM is being able to tailor your messaging to specific audiences very easily. So we have an audience-centric model. We have 7 audience segments that we're speaking to, and we want to make sure that when we're speaking to a CEO, they don't have the same concerns, and they don't even really speak the same language as an HR professional or a student. And so when we're creating different messaging tracks, we can train, AI tools to understand and to speak that language. We're not, like I said, we're not plugging it in and then pulling it out and posting it, but it at least creates a framework for, we're pushing out this new AI tool and it is usable for these 3 audiences. Like let's create a suite of content tracks for each of these audiences based on, kind of rules that we're giving to the large language model. So that can be huge, especially for large organizations that have a lot of different kind of sub audiences.
Subgroups, yeah. Kate, I know you like to use a number of acronyms, but one you're mentioning is AI plus HI equals ROI. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so that formula or equation was actually coined by our CEO, Johnny C. Taylor Jr., before we even launched the campaign. I think he maybe even dropped it like 6 months before. And it was in response to those fears that AI is going to take jobs. And to us, I mean, the AI is clear what that stands for, artificial intelligence, but the HI is human intelligence. So to really maximize and to really fully utilize AI, we have to still hone in on and nurture our human intelligence. And that's where we really get our return on investment. So AI amplifies human capability and potential rather than completely replacing it. So that's been a huge messaging point for SHRM. And it's something that I think, especially having HR at our core, we've really focused on highlighting humanness throughout all of our content and our product offerings and our events. That there is our suggestion and our support of AI is always paired with our prioritization of the human experience and maximizing human potential.
Great. Well, your thoughts have definitely increased the HI of our audience, and hopefully it'll help them with their integration of AI to get better ROI. So thanks so much for sharing your wisdom.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.